What up, what up, what up? Happy Two Goat Thursday. It's a Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, good to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you. Man, a lot has happened, so I'm looking forward to today's show and just kind of, recapping everything that's gone on. It's like a lot has happened, but like not a lot at the same time for
I
the
was just
49ers.
thinking that.
But it's been interesting, let's just say that. Like even the moves that they haven't made, they've lost some guys. Like it's all been very interesting. So definitely a lot to talk about.
I had something to tell you about that guy, Ty, but he's already here, so I can't tell you now. I have to wait. Chats, what's up? What's up, Ty? Rob, Throwback, Don, appreciate you all. Per usual. Jimmy, what's good? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I was really expecting a lot to happen for the 49ers, but I was expecting, I guess, more than what has happened. So, but not like any big names or anything like that. But I thought we for sure would have at least, signed maybe some D-line, maybe some, like it doesn't have to be a big name, but some depth. Somebody, anybody out there? Let's hope some signings are coming. We'll get into the available free agents here in a bit, but let's talk about some of the guys that we lost. I'm not going to get into each individual one, but any of the losses surprise you? Were you expecting all of those? Give me your thoughts on Juice finally being let go. And do you think that we get another fullback to take his spots, or do you think there's other plans? Let us know.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I wasn't surprised by any of the moves. I think the most surprising of the moves was Leonard Floyd, to be honest, because, it was Tim K who had mentioned that, they had plans to keep him. I think it would have made sense to keep him. I know he's on the older side, but he does have durability. He's able to stay healthy. He can at least give you some valuable snaps, right? And going forward, maybe he wouldn't be the starter, but I still would be interested in having him on the team. So that one did surprise me a little bit, especially given that one came before we found out Joey Bosa wasn't going to be a Niner, right? So it's like, okay, we don't have Joey Bosa. We also don't have Leonard Floyd anymore. So now you really have to address, edge as well as the entire defensive line, because defensive tackle is already an issue and they pretty much released almost every defensive tackle. So yeah, I think that was the most surprising move. But other than that, I think everything has kind of been something that we knew about, like either towards the end of the season or shortly after. We had heard rumors, that Kyle Juszczyk had been asked to take a pay cut, or he was going to be asked to take a pay cut. I doubt he would have taken 2 seasons in a row. Mm-hmm. So, I think it made plenty of sense for him to get cut at this moment in time. And, you just kind of see that, like, they're not willing to overpay on guys who are due, extensions like, Jalen Moore, Aaron Banks, those guys. And also they're no longer willing to, keep guys who have maybe underperformed for the amount of money they've gotten from the 49ers. So yeah, I'm definitely not too surprised.
What do you think the plans for fullback are?
Hard to say. I really have no idea. A lot of people have mentioned, and they mentioned this when the 49ers picked up Luke Farrell, was, maybe they go more 12 personnel. So you have pretty much like the blocking tight end that's going to be on the field more so than, fullback. So, and I think it was Rich who said that actually last season, Kyle Juszczyk handled a lot of those like tight end like.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Uh-huh.
So, I think it makes sense for an actual tight end to get those snaps now and maybe move towards not having a fullback anymore.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm like so over this whole fullback BS. Like, get with the fucking times, buddy. Okay. What's up, Bebop-aroni? Are you surprised with any of the guys? You mentioned obviously Banks. They got a pretty big payday elsewhere. Are you surprised with how much any of these guys got from these other teams?
Yes and no. I mean, I think I feel like every season teams overpay for offensive linemen just because there's such few that are worth starting. And I think Aaron Banks has already been a starter. And that's the crazy part, right? Like, you don't even have to be a good starter
Mm-hmm.
in order to, get a nice payday in this league for offensive linemen. Like, that tells you how few there are that can actually be startable and serviceable. Like, you just want to be able to get by. Like, Aaron Banks, I think, is that. Jalen Moore, I actually like Jalen Moore a little bit more, right? And so him going to the Chiefs, to me, kind of somewhat notable. I think he never really got the chance to start in San Francisco just because, obviously you have Trent Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But the times that he did start, and to start his career, it was a little shaky, right? But I want to say, like, in the last season or two, like, anytime he did have that opportunity, like, he was nice, and he looked like someone who could definitely start and be a good starter, for a team full time. So I did expect that he was going to get paid as well. A part of me did wish that, the 49ers would have looked to keep him, but I can't blame Moore for wanting to test the market, knowing what it is for offensive linemen. So yeah,
And
good for
getting to
him.
go to Kansas City, like shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Can't be mad at that one bit. It's with Moore, it was hilarious because I mean, with both of them, Banks, they have him listed as one of the top, as the top guard that was available. Moore, they had him listed as one of the top tackles, the top 3 or 4 tackles that were available. And you had people and all these talking heads were making such a big deal that the 49ers lost him, right? But then you had these talking heads then coming out after that saying that they admitted that they had no clue who that even was, and they had to look it up when Kansas City signed him. It's like, so you guys are ragging on the 49ers for losing all these guys that you guys don't even know who they freaking are. It's like so crazy.
Right.
But yeah, I like a lot of those guys got huge paydays, and it was like the 49ers were never going to do that. But
Nor should they for some of those
yeah,
guys, for sure.
exactly. Yep. Let's talk about the guys that the 49ers have added. Let's start at the bottom of this list here with Kyle finally getting his guy, Steph. Mac Jones is a quarterback for the 49ers. Like, what is this? Where
Are you
we?
surprised though? Are you surprised?
No, I'm not.
Exactly. Like, we're just not surprised by any. Like, the 49ers make quarterback decisions in such a, I don't want to say careless, but just like, I don't know, almost like too easygoing. Like, the first person that pops up is like, yes, we should bring him in. Sam Darnold. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan liked him. So, like, it's really just anyone who Kyle likes will have a chance to be on the 49ers at some point in time. It's funny because we know Kirk Cousins was that guy for him for a long time. He never got a chance to bring him to San Francisco, but he's always found someone else, like he always has other love interests in the quarterback world. And this year it's Mac Jones. So I mean, it makes sense. I think that's who Kyle wanted. In that 2021 draft, didn't get him, at at first in New England. I actually thought Mac Jones looked great, like his first season, right? And things kind of fell apart after that. Number of reasons for that, I think. And
yeah,
I think he's going to be nice in San Francisco. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks better than Sam Darnold did in this offense. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. But just another fun reclamation project for Kyle Shanahan to get some of his his love for some of these guys out of the way.
Do you think this means anything when it comes to Brock Purdy and his contract negotiations?
All right. So here's what I think, right? And I posed the question yesterday on Twitter, is this a hedge for the Purdy negotiations? I think it is. And that doesn't have to mean that they think that Mac Jones is going to supplant Brock Purdy. Like
Right.
that, I'm not saying that. Obviously, I think they would love for Brock Purdy to be the starter next year, and not have any doubts tied to that. Like you want him to do it and have his contract, done and everything. But with everything that we're hearing, and Miriah, it's because I know how this team operates. I've been following this team and hearing things about this team and what they do, the moves they make, like for a couple years now, that I put nothing past them. So I'm not. That's why I wasn't surprised by this move either. And the timing of it is interesting. To me, it's a hedge, and because of everything we're hearing about, Parag taking more of a hard line with these negotiations, and they're not going to overpay for anyone, including Brock Purdy. You got to wonder what their price for Brock Purdy is, right? I gotta imagine it's less than 60. It's less than 55. It's probably less than 50. So they can hold strong on whatever their price is and not bend. And I truly think that's what they want to do going forward, not just with Brock, but with every like negotiation that they have right now. So unfortunately for Brock, like, he's the one that's the first guinea pig of this. And yeah, I feel like should something not take place with this extension, should they not agree to something, we've already heard there's no guarantees, right? So I think Mac Jones is the option to start in the less likely, less optimal scenario that Brock Purdy holds out.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, and I must have missed this because I had like literally opened up Twitter after not being on there for so long yesterday, and that's the first thing I see when I open it is Mac Jones to the 49ers, and I was just so disgusted that I probably didn't even look at the details or anything about it. But now that I have the list here pulled up, and hopefully this is right, of all the guys that the 49ers added, it says Mac Jones agreed to a 2-year deal worth $7 million with $5 million guaranteed. Now, up until this point, we've been signing our backups to 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
You now get Kyle's guy on a 2-year deal worth up to $7 million. As you're fighting with this other quarterback to make 50, 60, whatever $1 million, like, buckle up. Because this off season.
Well, I think it's there. I think there could be two advantages to doing the 2-year deal rather than the one for the 49ers. One is the obvious, option that they have. Again, if the worst case scenario happens and Brock Purdy is not your quarterback and you can't work something out for him, then, you always have this option. And, if he looks good in this offense, he'll certainly take that. The second good thing about it, the 49ers will maybe be able to leverage, is that if he does look good in his first year with Kyle Shanahan, there's going to be teams who are interested in trading for him, and so if they keep Purdy, then you don't really need like this strong of a backup quarterback. Not strong, but like just someone with this high upside that like untapped potential. Another team's going to be interested in that. And rather than letting that guy go to free agency for free, and yes, you'll probably get a comp pick, like why not control it a little bit more and, have him be on your roster and have him go through a trade, or another team have to go through a trade in order to get him.
Yeah. What's up, Leon? So he looks like a weak John Cena. He looks like somebody I would have tried shoving in a locker when I was in high school, like or sticking in the trash can. Like, just, oh my God. I don't, my God. Dina, what's up? Good to see you, sis. Hope you've been well. It's been a while. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think training camp and all that. Whew, these stories are about to get very interesting.
Indeed.
Remember, there was already, I feel like every off season for the last I don't know how long, like there's always been a beat writer or two or three or a handful or, people there. I should not even just beat writers, people that cover the 49ers, that'll be on the side of the backup quarterback or the
Yeah.
second quarterback or so I already know without even
It's
having
back.
seen this guy put on a 49ers jersey yet. There's going to be people that say Mac Jones is looking better than Brock in camp.
Mm-hmm.
So get ready.
Like, is this a ploy to sell like training camp tickets? Is that what this all is? Like they gotta stir up the drama and see what these guys look like. Like fans want to see what they look like. They gotta increase the demand.
Oh my God. What's up, Jess? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, this is gonna be very interesting. All right, let's move on to the next one. Demarcus Robinson, wide receiver. Robinson and the 49ers agreed to a 2-year, $9.5 million contract. I really like this move, especially since we don't know how Ayuk is, what his status is, what he's going to look like, when he's going to be ready. So I like getting this vet in there. He's done good things. Like I would much rather prefer him than a lot of those wide receivers that were available. Give me your thoughts on adding Demarcus Robinson to this squad, Steph.
Yeah, I do like this signing. I think he's a solid veteran. He's been on several different teams. To me, this is the like Chris Conley replacement, but a little bit better. I think he's a little younger than Chris Conley, if I'm not mistaken. So, and he's been a contributor, a reliable contributor to the Rams, and it's like the Rams don't really need him. But when he has had his name called upon, he's been that guy to make plays for them. And I remember it was like, because I play fantasy football and like there's a certain type of reporting for players that happens in fantasy football where you're like hearing about guys that maybe on the come up,
Right.
like someone who could be a steal. Demarcus Robinson in that draft, I think it was the year it must have been the year they drafted Puka, or the year before that, like before they knew what Puka was, like,
right.
And I remember like him just being coined as this guy who was going to have a larger role. He was going to have the opportunity to have a larger role in the Rams offense. And, he's going to be good in all this stuff. And he just never really got that chance, I don't think, to be that guy, because of Puka. Then they had Tutu Atwell, who was also, pretty nice. Cup, obviously, when he was healthy. So, yeah, I mean, I see him being as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 for the 49ers and having a similar role that he had in LA, right? I think also he gives you that type of contribution that Chris Conley would have given you when Brandon Ayuk was out, right? So like again, I just see him as that like Chris Conley type of receiver. He's an X receiver and he can have a similar role. And we don't know when Ayuk is going to be back, so I think it's fine. The only question I think we all have is like, is he going to be suspended by the league, right? I maybe I'm thinking optimistically here, but I have to imagine like if the 49ers signed him and this as soon as they did, like they must know or have a sense of whether he's going to be suspended or not. And if he is, it
I
probably
would
will
think for
be
like
like
one
one
game.
game. Yeah, that's
Like we have guys
you have to
beating their
know.
wives and get suspended for 3 games,
They
like
they have to. I have to figure the 49ers probably know something. So
yeah, I know like after we signed him, Les Snead or whatever came out, or maybe right after they released him, I don't know. He came out and said something and mentioned, like, oh, that things are unknown with, the situation. It's like he probably just talking shit like that guy, fuck him. He probably just talked like, oh, the 49ers got him, so let me throw out. Because I've seen a lot of people throwing that, like, oh, well, the 49ers, look, they're signing guys now. They got DUIs. And it's like some people, every move that the 49ers sign, regardless, if it could be the greatest, me and you could sit here and rave about the move, like something we've been waiting for. And these mofos out there will find any way to twist it and find something wrong with it. Like, it's just very crazy out there. Let's move on to Trey Brown, cornerback. Brown, the former Seahawk, has agreed to a 1-year deal with the 49ers. This doesn't have what he's getting paid, but I mean, I don't know that too much about Trey Brown. Give me your thoughts on him, Steph.
Yeah, I don't have too much information on him. I think it's kind of a similar situation as DeMarcus Robinson. He is younger, but what I mean is just in the sense that he was a starter, then kind of got pushed down the depth chart with other draft picks that they brought in. So he could be someone who may have a bit of a chip on his shoulder or is hungry to kind of make his way up a depth chart again and have that opportunity. So it could be positive. He one of the special teams guys? I know they signed a couple of like
No, I think that's the other.
the other guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they
this
they
one,
signed like two.
yeah,
But,
this doesn't
you
say
know,
in the write up anything
okay.
about special teams.
Yeah.
Real quick, I mean, what this says about him, it says, so obviously it says after losing Tarvarius Ward, the 49ers needed a number 3 cornerback, and Brown, at minimum, has a chance to fill that role. Lenore and Renardo Green occupy the top 2 spots for corner who play outside to allow Lenore to bump into the slot in nickel situations as necessary. Brown has a solid 2023 season, and despite his lack of size, 5'10", 185 pounds, he brings the necessary physicality to hold up against the run. Well, that's a plus. We definitely need that. His press coverage skills also figured to appeal to defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. But it says, what's the risk? Durability is a question for Brown. He had a rough 2024 season in which he was slowed by an ankle injury and benched after struggling against the 49ers. His lack of size can lend itself to getting banged up at times, especially over the past 2 seasons, though he still played in 28 games over those 2 seasons. Like with most of their other signings so far, this is a flyer on upside and potential, and the Niners will need to continue to add to fill out their cornerback room. So, guess we'll see. I mean, like we are so high on not so high, but like high on them adding like the couple cornerbacks they added last offseason, and they didn't end up being shit. So
Yeah. So that's kind of my thing with this, right? Like cuz I saw people saying like, "Oh, this could be like one of those upside, signings." And I don't want to get my hopes up too high just because of how last year went, but you know, I think we're banking on having better coaches this year.
yeah,
I mean, Robert Saleh is going to be better. And look, I don't see this guy as being like too much of a contributor. I think he's going to have a chance to compete to be that third corner. But you have Darrell Luter. You're hoping he takes a next step and can prove to be like a valuable starter. You already have Lenore and Renardo Green. Like, those are going to be your top 2 corners no matter what. It's just about like, when you get into those dime packages, who's going to be that third corner. So I just see him as being a guy in the competition.
agree. What's up, La? What's up, Benali? Who else I saw sneak in here? Steve-O, what's good? What's up, everybody? We appreciate y'all being here. Safety, Jason Pinnock. I don't know. Agreed to a 1-year deal. I think he's one of them for special teams. Maybe. I can't fucking keep track anymore. But give me your thoughts on him, Steph.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, I think having a special teams ace is good. It's valuable. I think,
Needed.
last year we saw them make similar moves, kind of like the corners. Like they brought in guys to be special teams guys and they ended up underperforming. Again, like I think we're banking that there's going to be better coaching in place. And we know that, Brent Boyer's going out here and handpicking free agents to, replenish the special teams unit. So hopefully that's one of those moves that's, going to pay dividends.
Yeah, I'm all for anything we can do to help this special teams because, good Lord, it's been so fucking terrible. Yeah. Like, I'm tired season after season to be here bitching. But, I mean, I'd rather bitch about special teams than obviously offense or defense, right? But, I mean, can we just have a season that all are, doing well?
Right.
Let's go to, well, they did re-sign Kevin Givens to a 1-year deal. So, any quick thoughts you have on bringing him back?
No, I mean, I think that's good depth with someone who's familiar with your system. I'm pretty sure his time when he was previously with the team overlapped with Saleh. So, yeah, I mean, it's just someone who's familiar. And, Saleh's familiar with him. So, it just something that's not going to cost them a whole lot, but that they can, have some depth. You need to fill the back of your roster with guys like him. So
exactly. And I think he's been hasn't been fantastic, but he hasn't been terrible for us either. Like he's been just, solid enough that I'm good with bringing him back for depth. And of course, he ain't breaking the bank, so.
Yep.
Luke Gifford, linebacker, agrees to a 1-year deal with the 49ers. Thoughts on Luke, Steph?
I think he was one of the guys that was special teams guy. I mean, you have to bring in some linebacker depth. Not necessarily just because you lost Greenlaw. I mean, you need a little more than this guy,
right?
To fix that.
He ain't taking his spot.
Yeah, but you need some depth on the roster, and a veteran, and you need special teams contributors. It was Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, right? That I don't think he's signed with anyone yet, but he's going to. And the 49ers, I think, released him early, so you're looking for some more depth guys.
Yeah. Are you guys saying like this has been announced?
I hadn't seen anything come through that he was signed, but yeah, I did see he was visiting.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. So, and yeah, this does say that it's Luke and I think safety Richie Grant are the special teams ones. That's what this write-up says underneath Luke anyways. All right. And the next one to talk about is Richie Grant. So thoughts on safety Richie Grant. What is this? Oh, he's the one that came from Atlanta, right? He had 4 seasons in Atlanta. So yeah, your thoughts on him, Steph?
Yeah, I mean it's just another depth move. That's the only moves they've made really so far. Which I think that's why it's not moving the needle for us fans, but it's guys that they need. It's just not exciting. But yeah, it's pretty much just another depth move. You need more of a veteran presence, I think, in the safety room. You do have George Odom. That's really the only other, veteran safety that you had. But other than that, you got rookies, you got second-year guys. So, it's always good to have another veteran in the building.
Yep. Daniel Barry, what's good? Jimmy. Oh, no, Jimmy. I already say hi to you, Jimmy. I'm trying to say hi to Jason, damn it. There's too many J's in a row. Look it up. Y'all, are screwing me up like this. What's up, Jason? All right. Next, Steph, is, well, I mean, I'll bring this one up just because of, let me get your thoughts around this entire group. That's the 49ers bringing back Patrick Taylor Jr. Now, obviously, Elijah Mitchell left, goes to Kansas City. There were some supposed rumors out that Raheem Mostert was connected in coming back to the 49ers. However, he signed with the Raiders. So, what do you think? Because they did place that second round tender on Jordan Mason, right? So I want to get your thoughts. Do you think a team, supposedly there's interest in him out there, do you think there's interest in enough in him that some team's going to swoop him up? And, you know, just your thoughts on Patrick Taylor coming back. Just hit the entire room, all right?
Yeah, so Jordan Mason, do I think someone's going to give up a second for him? I don't.
That's crazy.
I don't. And, you know, I think it's a fitting tender that they placed on him just because, you know, he was starting, you know, last season for much of the season. So, and he did well, you know, and I think a lot of teams saw that, and we know that he could be a starter elsewhere. He's just not going to have that opportunity here. So I think it makes sense for the 49ers to maybe over value Jordan Mason. The worst that happens is you get to keep him, you know, for like $5 million or however much it is. It's like 4 point something. But yeah, I think that was a fine move. I don't think that a team would trade that just because we're in a very deep running back class. So I don't see it happening. It could always happen after the draft, maybe if like a team doesn't get who they want, and you know, you feel like, again, Jordan Mason is, I think, like a proven starter or could be a proven starter for a team. So we'll see. But I think the most likely scenario is that, you know, teams or 49ers keep him. Not surprising though that, you know, other teams were interested before they tendered him.
Yeah, I would think maybe if it was like a third round tender, a team might go in and swoop them up, you know, but second round, like, whew. And yeah, maybe a team, you know, before the trade deadline even ends up trading for him. Like, what, you know, if a team's starting running back goes down, God forbid, you know, but we know injuries to running backs especially happen. Hopefully it's not our team needing freaking running backs like usual. But you never know. Let's move on. And yeah, I've seen somebody, Bebop said Patrick did well in this system. It's crazy because each guy that was on this team last season, when they came in because the guy in front of them got hurt, they all did pretty well, you know. And Patrick Taylor was like so far down the depth chart that it took to the very end of the season, like us losing like literally everybody. And he came in and there's like hardly any drop off, you know, from the guy in front of him, So yeah, I thought that was a good move to bring him back. Luke Farrell, I know we talked a little bit about him earlier, but let me get your thoughts on him. Farrell agreed to a 3-year contract worth up to $20.25 million with $11 million guaranteed. And he's more like a blocking guy, right? Like hasn't even scored a touchdown. So give me your thoughts on adding him, Steph.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers have been wanting to upgrade their TE2 for a while, like few years now, and pretty unsuccessfully. So I think, you know, they feel like Luke Farrell is that guy. Obviously, they think he's better than Eric Saubert was, you know, this past season. I saw people saying, you know, the 49ers finally like replaced Charlie Warner with this move, right? Mm-hmm. So Charlie Warner was a really good blocker that, you know, maybe we all took for granted when he was on the team. But I think we know once he left, what shoes he left behind, right?
Empty shoes
and big shoes to fill. So yeah, I think Luke Farrell does that. I think like what we were mentioning earlier with them wanting to do more 12 personnel, you know, you let go of juice. So now the T2 maybe will have more responsibility than before. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. But I don't think they should be done at tight end. I still
No.
think they could bring in more guys. They have Brendan Willis, who, like, I loved him coming out of the draft, but I just haven't seen big improvements from him. He's a special teams guy, so that'll do him favors. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see just like some sort of leap and improvement in his game. You have Mason Pline, who was a rookie last season. Fan of his as well. 49K prospect spotlight alum. So
There you go.
yeah, he was. I think the team likes him, but he was a practice squad guy last year. We haven't seen him,
Right.
so if they have guys that maybe they want to develop, but I don't think that should stop them from getting a tight end in this class if a nice one falls. And I think there's going to be some good ones available.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see. I talked so much shit about you in those last 15 minutes, so I would definitely like to see them draft, or I don't even know. There's probably not even any decent tight ends available left in free agency, but definitely we need to add a guy. So through drafts, through whoever, just get one in there. I think, is that the last? Am I missing anybody? Did we talk about everybody? I mean, all of our moves, we had so many that.
Yeah, right? So many.
And then obviously the last one that was on this list was bringing back Curtis Robinson, which I love that move. I wish, like, I hate that he got injured last season because, I thought he would have had an opportunity to get a lot more playing time. I'm not sure, when he's even expected to be back from his injury. But yeah, I'm good with that. Any thoughts on him before we move on?
Yeah, no, I like Curtis Robinson. I think this is like a very low cost move. We're talking about linebacker. He definitely needs some depth there. I think he could contribute on special teams as well. He looked great in training camp last year. When he was able to contribute in like the preseason, I thought he looked good. Before he got hurt. So we'll see what he's looking like after his injury, and I if he looks good, I'd be happy to keep him on the team.
Yes. Let me see if there's a list of the free agents that are still available.
Yeah. You want me to send you the link?
No, because then I can't pull it up on Twitter over here, so.
Oh.
It's
not on Twitter though.
But where are you going to send it?
Oh, on the private chat.
Okay, yeah. I forgot about that.
I like this list on the 33rdteam.com because they group it by position. Which I think a lot of them do, but they also put guys who were available and have signed with other teams. So you could see, like, at the start of free agency, what options the 49ers had, and now what options do they have? Let's just say, like, for defensive tackle, the options have dwindled. Like, there's barely any, which I'm surprised by because this is going to be a strong defensive tackle class, but you're seeing a lot of these guys, sign deals, and some of them have signed, massive deals. So yeah, it was a little surprising to me.
All right. Let's look through here. Before we actually get into this list, it was announced earlier that the Vikings plan to release center Garrett Bradbury if they can't find a trade. You have any thoughts on adding him? He's 29 years old. He was a first-round pick in 2019, selected 18th overall. And has manned the position the past 6 years. He has started all 88 games he has appeared in for the Vikings, including all 17 last season.
I hadn't seen that. I mean, at this point, you said he was a center?
Yeah.
At this point, like, I'm open to any center that could be an upgrade over Jake Brendel, which I don't think would be very hard to do. And yeah, he's 29, so Um, I would love for the 49ers to take a flyer, take a look at any of the available centers, um, and hopefully upgrade, man, because look, I'll remind people the 49ers are in this regime. Kyle does not start rookies or like young centers. Like he just doesn't. So I truly only see um an option in the free agent class, which there's not a lot left. Like a lot of them that have been available have signed deals. The Patriots also are releasing David Andrews. He's, I think, a little older, and he's coming off of a shoulder surgery. So, I don't know if I'd like that. Other than that, there's two other options: Liam Eichenberg and Andre James. And I don't know.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
Who? All right, let's start. Well, I mean, I don't think we need to look at quarterbacks because, whatever. Let's go to running backs since that I think is the next. Yeah. Raheem, so some of these aren't updated, but we'll make the best of it. So anybody else on this list, Steph, that you would like to see the 49ers add?
No, the 49ers don't need to get a running back with tread on the tires. You go to the draft for a running back, especially in this class. They might bring in one guy to compete in camp. I could see Cam Akers. I like Cam Akers. I think he'd be a good option.
10 years ago.
Kareem Hunt, just Miles Sanders. Those are guys who could probably take tier 2, tier 3 deals, 1 year deal. I think that'd be fine. I'm surprised Rico Dowdle only got 1 year, $2.75 million. That's crazy. And then Javonte Williams, 1 year, $3 million. It's crazy what some of these running backs are getting paid. So you can get a running back, for cheap.
It's hard out here in these streets for running backs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers. Do you think we add another wide receiver, Steph?
They certainly could. I don't know if they do in free agency. I think they can wait and just kind of see how it shakes out, see who ends up not being wanted, and if you like that guy or the 49ers like that guy, then they'll be interested in making an offer. I could see Amari Cooper as an option. We've heard Keenan Allen being an option. I can't imagine at this point in their career, especially Keenan Allen, he's much older now. You're not going to get many more deals in the league, and I think I just can't imagine they would be asking for too much. But those would be the two options for me. And then I think the draft is an option as well. They'll probably draft a wide receiver, so they'll be fine at receiver.
Some of these are just oh god. Shout out Trent Sherfield, still making money.
Yeah.
Shit.
Man.
Got a 2 for 6.
That's nice.
I can't what? How is this? How our team's still signing him? $1.3 million.
He's reliable.
Reliable to do a TikTok.
I'm surprised Tim Patrick is available too. Brandon Powell, there's some nice guys here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, back end of your roster kind of guys, but if you need them, they'll be solid for you.
How about any of these? We just talked about tight end, adding one through the draft. Any of these other guys that are available?
No, not really.
Bunch of old.
Not really. They've, the 49ers have had Michael Pruitt before, I think.
I was on the Michael Pruitt fan club.
Robert. I wouldn't be shocked if depending on where the market is and so much time has passed, it's after the draft, prices drop as the market phases some of these guys out. If that happens, Eric Sauber, I could see him coming back to the
I hope
Niners.
not.
He would be like the third tight end, barely get any time. Special teams. He has special team snaps under his belt. Like, I don't know.
I don't like him. All right, center. We had just talked about a couple of these guys, and that's really literally all that's available.
I guess Leon in the comments said, I trust John Chapman, and he said Bradbury is the only center worse than Brendel. So I was like, yeah, no, call it off. I take back what I said. But no, so what I mean is I'm just interested in any center that's an upgrade, that could be an upgrade.
Or shit, bring in one of these guys to compete. Like, may the best guy win.
Yeah, well, I think they have guys in-house who can compete. Like, they have younger guys on the roster.
But do they have a
Nick
real shot to
win? Drake Nugent. Do they have a shot to win? I don't know. I feel like Zakel has been, defrosting for some time. Like he's
I literally feel like that guy's been on the team for freaking 10 years.
No, it's only for him. It's only been like 3. Like, yeah, I think he's still in his.
I feel like he's been here forever.
Right. So like that's why I'm like, if it's got to be time for him to take the next step, right? Whether it's competing at left guard or center. Ben Barch as well. He's going to be an option. Oh, Matt Hennessy. Yeah, I forgot. Matt Hennessy, I think, could be an option for center too. So. Yeah, I mean,
why does this keep going?
There'll be guys that will compete. You just hope that they'll be better than Brendel. Again, low bar, so that's fine.
Offensive guards. Any of these guys, Steph?
No, I feel, again, I think when they get a guard or like if they bring in any offensive lineman, it's going to be the garbage bin.
Here's our friend.
Who?
Old Bumskill.
It's gonna be one of those like guys that you can sign after the draft, like Ben Barch was, like Matt Hennessy was, someone you can sign super late in the game that you feel can give you some upside, someone who could be like a swing guard or a swing tackle, like someone who has versatility. You can always go for those guys, but as of right now, I'm not thinking about any guards.
Damn, besides Will Fries, Aaron Banks got paid the most money?
Yeah, dude, he got
Damn.
He got grossly paid. He got overpaid. Whew. It's crazy.
I feel like this had skipped. Yeah, tackles. What about tackles?
Again, same thing like as what I said with the guards. It's like they'll probably be someone that they bring on, to be a camp body and compete. And, sometimes those guys do end up being, someone you like and you want to keep on the roster. Like, so we'll see. But again, I'm not thinking
these guys still good or they're like already old and like, why are they still...
a number of these guys are older and like have been on a few teams now. So
George Fant, like
otherwise they'd be paid already.
Like you have some names here, but it seems, they must be already all washed up. All right, let's go to what do they got here next? Edge rusher, Steph. We need some fucking edge rushers.
Dude. In the worst way. So yeah, Edge is probably where I feel like there's more interesting names still available. Like Azeez Ojulari would be my top choice for the 49ers. He's young. I believe he's like 27. So he would definitely be an option. Charles Omenihu, you can always bring him back.
Come on home, friend.
Speed rush guy. He's had success here. And yeah, if he's open to it, I'd be open to it too. I'm actually surprised he hasn't gotten a deal yet. Maybe the ACL injury, scaring teams away. I don't know.
But he came back after that, right?
Yeah, he did. So. He did. And then you got Zadarius Smith and Matthew Judon.
So you still have some guys.
Didn't Judon get signed? Oh no, was it Uche? One of those guys. I
Yeah,
thought
there's some like this
one of
list
those
hasn't
guys
been
went to the
updated.
Chiefs. I thought it might have been Judon. Someone, yeah. So we'll see. Zadarius Smith is older and like from remember he went to the Commanders late in the season. It was Commanders, right? No, Lions. The Lions fans were saying like he was pretty underwhelming. So maybe he wouldn't be an option. But you need bodies, like you need
Yeah,
someone at this point. Like so at
we
this
got
point, I'd be
Clayton,
happy with pretty much anyone, just because like they just need to fill up the defensive line.
and especially like if you can get them on the cheap, like a lot of these guys, they're not asking. I'm sure they're not asking for a lot of money because they ain't gonna get it.
Right.
So like just get bodies in there. Like we like our freaking like we hardly have anybody on the squad right now on D line.
Especially no, on the
All
defensive
right,
line.
let's
Nothing.
hurry this up so we can get out of here. Why does this keep like skipping? Like this shit is annoying. All right, defensive tackle. I kept like Hargrave got
so this is what I'm saying.
million.
Like there's barely any defensive tackles left.
Campbell.
Like, it's crazy.
Raekwon Davis, DeMarcus Walker.
So again, like out of
Like
these
I don't even know who some of these guys are.
Yeah, you're gonna like Raekwon Davis, Calais Campbell's like older. I mean, you're just gonna be you're gonna be, and that's the thing. Like they've let go of so many that I mean, you could.
We're gonna have to draft.
They will. I mean, they will draft the defensive tackle. They might even double dip. But you still need like more guys. I feel like. So
we do because we hardly have anybody.
They have like what 4 defensive tackles right now.
Crazy.
So they definitely
need linebacker. Anybody worth a shit on this list? Got CJ Mosley.
I wouldn't be interested in getting the veteran linebacker. Like they already have Curtis Robinson. They already have Eric Kendricks. That's funny because
boo.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Boo them all.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not really interested in bringing a veteran linebacker. I think your best bet at trying to replicate, and it doesn't feel right to say, I don't think anyone could replicate, Dre Greenlaw, but just from an energy standpoint and someone who's like hungry and, you're going to find someone in the draft. I think that's your best chance, not any of these older linebackers.
Any of these safeties that are left?
Julian Blackman, I think, would be interesting, but I don't think they really need. I don't think they really need safety anymore. I feel like they're good. You can probably bring in a rookie if you want. Maybe
only 26.
Go bring Sean Gibson back if you want. Yeah, no, I could see safety being one of those positions that you kind of wait till after the draft to sign someone for super cheap.
Do we have this thing just keeps fucking going back all over the place? Cornerbacks? Anyone? Gilmore, Asante Samuel Jr.
I'd rather they get a corner in the draft.
Akello? Yeah, no. Special teams? That's what we got left?
Womp womp. Sign them off the street, man.
Well, these are guys off the street.
I guess, yeah, technically true.
There's only one punter on there. I want competition for kicker and punter brought in. Both.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be shocked if Wishnowski gets cut, at this point, seeing how things have gone down, Tabor Pepper released. Yeah, these are just positions you could find off the street. Joey Slyle, they've had before. So that could be an option. Matt Prater is like old and been in the league forever, so he could be like a Robbie Gould type, Nick Folk too. He's just one of those older veterans that, could end up being reliable. I like Joey Slough, but yeah, we'll see. Definitely don't draft one though.
Yeah,
Don't draft
please.
one.
Like, good Lord. Last thing before we get out of here, Steph, thoughts on, and I know you had, touched on it earlier a little bit, but we really didn't talk about it. Thoughts on Joey Bosa supposedly had matching offers from the 49ers and Dolphins, and then pulls a fast one and goes to the Bills. What did you think about that move?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that a Bosa chose money. Like,
Right.
that's their biggest motivation, it seems. So, you know, maybe the 49ers and the Dolphins were used to drive up the price and see if someone else would come in and
Yeah.
take in bids basically. I wouldn't have paid Joey Bosa that much as
Hell
much as
no.
the Bills paid, so
I'm glad, yeah. That
yeah.
was my thoughts. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
wanted him, if we could have got him for cheap and he wasn't like starting, he was just coming in on
exactly.
pass rushing downs and whatever. But yeah. Good
Exactly.
luck, Bills.
Yeah.
um, that's it. You have anything else coming up you want to let them know about?
I got my show tomorrow with Wayne. We'll go over the free agent moves so far as well, and we do our 49K draft club. So we'll talk about some prospects tomorrow. We're talking about running backs and linebackers that people suggested to us. So it was tough. We got a lot of names, and we narrowed it down to a few. So make sure you guys tune into that and see who we picked to talk about.
There you have it. Next week, 2GOAT mock draft. We didn't do it today because we actually had, stuff to talk about. So, but next week we're going to do 2GOAT mock drafts. Make sure you guys come through so you guys can help us draft the future for the 49ers. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels, Steph 49K and Faithfully in Vegas. We appreciate you all for coming through. Shout out to you, chat. You guys are the most awesome chat out there. Like, I couldn't even keep up. You guys are going crazy. So I appreciate you all. And yeah, we're here every Thursday, 3 Pacific time. So come through, hang out with the goats. Let me show Steph. We got something new and special to show Steph right now.
Let's
so
go.
Get ready. So you guys don't have to look at her, pick her nose anymore. All right. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.